Bernie Leadon gets technical on Journey of the Sorcerer from One of These Nights. I'm John Beaudin from Rocky Street Music. Journey of the Sorcerer was this big instrumental piece on One of These Nights. It was one of my favorite Eagles songs of all time. He also co-wrote Hollywood Waltz and I Wish You Peace on One of These Nights. He gets technical on this one. It's great for banjo players, but we asked him about Journey of the Sorcerer.
Well, first of all, I'm a banjo player, right? So there's two main styles of playing five-string banjo. You can either pluck it, which is called picking. So the Scruggs style was that. Pete Seeger did plucking and strumming, or picking. And then there's a kind of a strumming style where you strum down with all your fingers across the strings, and then you catch your thumb on the fifth string, which is the highest pitch string, but the one closest to you. And then when you pull your hand back up, you kind of move your hand, you rotate your wrist a little bit, and it catches that fifth string, the high ding, the high G, and it goes ding. And then you can strum it rhythmically, and that's called frailing or clawhammer style. And so I didn't really grow up doing clawhammer style, but I got interested in it. It's a more primitive sound, and it's very evocative. And people used to play that tuning, a lot of Appalachian, North Carolina type banjo players in tunings, and some of them were called modal tunings. And a modal means it doesn't sound either minor or major because it doesn't have a third in it at all. It doesn't have a major third or a minor third, which is what, if it has a major third, it's a major chord. If it has a minor third, it's a minor chord. But instead it has a fourth, which is kind of an odd raised tone in the chord, and so it's called modal tuning. And it is a minor mode, but it's very ethereal sounding and very, very evocative. It's very kind of cinematic, if you will. And so I was screwing around with tunings and C tuning. Dropped C tuning is very common on this style of banjo playing, which goes back to the Civil War. There's a lot of Civil War era kind of songs. In fact, I play one at the very, very end of Journey of the Sorcerer, that little major key, so it's in a minor vibe, modal vibe, and then at the very end of the song, when the fiddle comes in, we start playing a Civil War song, the name of which I'll think about in a second. Ask me again later.
The orchestration, though, did it build in your mind? Did it build in the studio? When did the orchestration become an idea for the song?
Well, it wasn't really. I can explain. This is an economic decision as much as anything else. So I just wrote this instrumental thing, and we were playing ideas, I guess, and it was later in the production of that album. And Jim Ed Norman did the string arrangement. For the Eagles, he did the string arrangement on Desperado, and then I can't remember what else has strings on it, an orchestral string section on this particular album. But the way that orchestral sessions work is, first of all, you have to hire an arranger, and then you hire the string players, which is usually somewhere between 12 and 18 string players. And it's a union session, and it lasts 3 hours on the dot, and you get as much recording as you can get done in the 3 hours, and then you're done. But I think we only had maybe one other song, maybe two, to get done in that 3-hour session. So we said, well, we got enough time to do another song, so why don't we do an orchestral arrangement on Journey of the Sorcerer? So we did, because the other songs were essentially paying for the string session, if that makes any sense. So it's one of the extremely few kind of funky folk banjo frailing songs that has a full string section on it, because who could afford that, right? Banjo being kind of a working class instrument anyway, and those styles are. I mean, it works really great, And then how it became theme song for the BBC radio and then TV series Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy was simple. The writer of Hitchhikers, Douglas Adams, an English guy, he was a fan of the Eagles, and he bought the new LP when that one came out, and he had it on his turntable when BBC asked him, "Hey, we need a theme song for the radio show," and he went, "Okay," and then he just heard this that day on his turntable, so he played it. He went, "Yeah, that's perfect." So he rang up BBC. The English branch of Warner Brothers had the administration on the Eagles publishing at that point, and they gave him the song for a £500 fee, which was not too much. And so basically, they got the rights in England for £500, about $1,000 at the time. So much, much later, they made that one film of Hitchhiker's Guide. That's a type of that comes under a copyright law, under so-called synchronization part of copyright law. So they had to negotiate with me, and we got $175,000 for the rights for the film, but we only got £500 for the original TV show. And
for more information, go to Bernie Leadon online. He's writing some new material right now. We'll have more from Bernie coming up next week. Make sure you comment on our videos, subscribe to our channel, and share our videos. I'm John Beaudin from Rock History Music.